This is frightening, Monica. Thankfully, no new shootings to report today, and no one's been hurt, but the sheriff says this shooter is clearly dangerous, and they want to stop whoever it is.
As you can see, it takes quite a bit of plastic to make just one shirt. 19 bottles are needed to make enough fiber for one extra large.
I immediately called homicide, and it was not easy to get the officer who answered to listen.
Less than a few feet from where the shooting took place, directly across the street from that address, in the grass, is a gun.
We tried to call public information to tell you guys about it. I'll hold.
Investigators say a spent 9mm shell casing like this one was found in the windshield wiper track of Castiel's car, and it matches evidence collected at several of the shooting scenes. You can actually go pretty high-tech with these barrels. The company also sells a solar-powered pump, which mounts onto the barrel so people can use a pressurized hose for watering. Just down the street from the Movement Festival, this is the real cool spot along the Detroit River, and kids are just loving this fountain in front of the Rensen.
It's gotten windy and rainy again out here today, but they are rolling out more cars for more racing and more qualifying. And I met Patrick Dempsey today, so I didn't even notice it was raining.
We have not touched it.
Detroit police come over to check out this handgun found lying in the weeds across the street from a murder scene. The .38 Special was discovered by a TV news crew on St. Mary's, right next to our live trucks, after police had already left the scene.
All them police was out here, they couldn't find the gun. And all these little children running back and forth across the street here.
My grandchildren stay right at the house across the street. They gonna play in that lot and everything, and they would have been the two boys that would have found that gun.
It is possible the gun was the murder weapon used to shoot and kill 23-year-old Marcus Jackson. I immediately called homicide, and it was not easy to get the officer who answered to listen.
Less than a few feet from where the shooting took place, directly across the street from that address, in the grass, is a gun.
We tried to call public information to tell you guys about it. I'll hold.
Neighbors are telling us they heard 5 gunshots between 1 and 2 a.m. When police took a closer look at that gun, they found 5 spent shell casings inside.
He wouldn't do that to nobody. Okay. And I wouldn't. All I just want is for somebody to say something, do something, because that's wrong.
The victim's girlfriend tells us she got a call from Jackson around 1 a.m. saying he'd meet her at his house 1 street from the murder scene. She went there, but he never showed up.
I know he wouldn't just leave me at his house with the back door wide open and then just not come back.
I'm all upset. There's just too many people getting killed here in Detroit.
This volunteer with the group Detroit 300 came rushing over to try and get information that might help police stop this senseless violence.
It's too much violence in Detroit, if you ask me. Why would you want to sit out here and want to kill somebody? What's that going to do? You feel better about yourself for killing somebody? Why?
So far, no suspects. Police have this gun, but the killer or killers are still on the loose. In Detroit, Robin Schwartz, Fox 2 News. This elementary gymnasium was filled with cheers and love and support for 8-year-old Jacob Pesta. The second grader at Commerce Elementary is battling a rare form of childhood cancer, a ophthalmic brain tumor. Doctors say he's the first child in the U.S. and only the 7th in the world with this diagnosis.
Every individual child that comes to the table with a brain tumor is like a puzzle, and every puzzle is different.
He's had, a million pokes. That's what every kid's just scared to death of, and never once has he ever complained.
Jacob was first diagnosed in 2009. Since then, he's had 2 craniotomies, radiation, and chemotherapy. He attends physical therapy year-round. Friday, hundreds of his classmates wore yellow for Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month and to cheer him on.
He's just a battler. He's a fighter. He always comes with a smile on his face, no matter how much pain he's in. Just a wonderful little boy.
In spite of everything, Jacob is still able to come to school every day. He's gone 2.5 years now with no evidence of disease. Doctors say it will be another 2.5 years before he's officially considered a survivor. But it's clear to everyone who meets him, he already is.
Survivors never give up.
That's Jacob's mantra, and with the support of his family, his little sister Caitlin, and his entire school, this brave little boy continues to fight. His parents started a foundation called Jacob's Fight to raise money for pediatric cancer research.
Because I don't want any other children to have a brain tumor like me.
8 pounds. 8 pounds. There are 8 pounds of peanuts.
And that's not all. There's also this surveillance video, this stolen van, and this angry victim who put all the pieces together.
One of the things I used the van for was to take my grandson to where he works.
Patricia Menzel is fired up. First, her van was stolen out of her driveway in Lincoln Park. Then it was recovered a week later in Westland.
During that time, they put hundreds of miles on my van. They have destroyed the inside. They have punched out the key locks.
And the thief or thieves did some serious snacking. Patricia found these peanuts they left behind and this receipt, which led her to this Westland store.
And it took the manager an hour and a half to locate the camera and the time and the date. But we got a video.
And here's the suspect holding those peanut bags. Great detective work. So Patricia tried to take all the evidence back to police.
Lincoln Park says it's Westland's job. Westland police say it's Lincoln Park police job. I got nowhere to turn. I called Fox 2. You, in turn, thank you very much, called the Lincoln Park police last night. Now they want to get the information. Now, after we did it, they want the video.
21-year-old Patrick Mikes Jr. appeared in court clean-shaven and with a haircut, looking less scruffy than his first court appearance. He was charged with open murder in the death of his father, 55-year-old Patrick Mikes Sr. Police have described a violent crime scene in the family's Troy home. They say the former Notre Dame student was caught on camera buying cleaning supplies and had scrapes and scratches when he was questioned. And they say blood was found in the family's car, which they believe was used to move the body.
Our investigation leads us to believe this is the highest likely possibility of where the body was placed.
About 60 officers and a dozen canine units resumed their extensive search in rural Montrose, northwest of Flint. 17 teams searched a 20-square-mile area where they say farmers remember seeing the family's gray Infiniti.
And it was driving up and down the street a few times at 5 and 10 miles an hour.
We went along with this canine unit, Troy Police and the Montrose Fire Department, searching heavily wooded areas off Birch Run Road and other streets in Saginaw County. Police say there's a 3-hour time period on Saturday, July 28th, when they cannot account for the suspect's whereabouts. They believe he may have buried his father's body or disposed of it some other way in this quiet, remote community. Breakdancing and breaking a sweat, even in the 90-degree heat. These guys were anxious to show us their moves at Movement, Detroit's electronic music festival on Hart Plaza. Isn't it too hot to dance like that?
No, not really.
As you might expect on a day like this, the Fountain was a popular place. Some concert goers got creative. How are you keeping cool?
Squirt guns, dollar store squirt guns, actually.
A gravedigger at West Lawn Cemetery in Westland does his job in reverse. Instead of burying this casket, he's digging it up so family members can verify Lolita Fortune is in it. The young mother was laid to rest April 14th, but not where her family members thought.
I just cannot understand, how do you make a mistake and have a funeral twice for your mother? How?
It's not clear exactly how it happened, but Fortune was buried one cemetery plot over from the space her loved ones were given. They've been visiting the wrong spot for weeks, leaving flowers and saying prayers where a man is actually buried. They shot this video as their mother's casket was unearthed, and they confronted the cemetery's manager.
You guys sent the letter, and we've been visiting this grave. We have been putting flowers at 2306. There was a lady who contacted us and stated that this is her husband.
We would have never found out. We would have never known. Had I not said, let me see, I would have never known. I would have still been visiting the man, thinking that this was my mother.
The family paid more than $2,000 for this burial plot. They say the cemetery has yet to apologize or express any sympathy. We tried to talk to that same cemetery manager to find out how this could happen and address some of the family's concerns, but she refused to answer our questions, kicked us off the property, and threatened to call police.
And this is terrible. She should consider how other people are feeling, how we're feeling as her family.
After she drove away from our cameras, family members did record the manager offering this explanation.
We put tags on them to make sure that they go in the right spot. In that particular grave, the guys had 5 burials, so
So when you have 3, 4, 5 areas of strain, it's stress because it's guys.
They didn't check the tags when they set those 2 balls in. They should have.
They say they want their money back and possibly to move their mother to another cemetery where she can truly rest in peace. You can feel it in your chest, the rush, every time those engines roar. Today it was practice and qualifying for the Chevrolet Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix and Free Prix Day, the chance for fans to get up close and personal with the cars and the drivers free of charge.
It's great. It's great. We used to go down to the race in Detroit for every Grand Prix race there. Now that it's back in Detroit, it's super. We need it. The cars, the sound, the noise, the race itself, that's what makes it all happen.
The return of world-class auto racing to Detroit is generating excitement and money. The 2007 and 08 races attracted more than 200,000 people and pumped $100 million into the local economy. Children's Hospital sent several cardiac patients and their families to Free Prix Day.
It's wonderful. This is our first year.
Tell me what you think of these cars.
They're sweet.
So was heartthrob Patrick Dempsey, who came out to talk to us and greet fans after his second run around the track.
This morning it was a bit difficult trying to understand where I was going and am I turning left or right, and a lack of visibility because of the rain, but the last session felt much better. And it's just relaxing for some reason. I find it to be incredibly relaxing, enjoyable on a good day.
Yeah.
And I like the atmosphere and all those things. I think it's just a personal, mental, and physical challenge for oneself.
I think it's funny that he finds it relaxing to drive about 120 miles an hour around a tiny track, but hey, whatever works. The racing continues until about 6:30 tonight, and then the gates open bright and early tomorrow, 7:30 a.m.